What is up, everybody? Escape211 here. We are on the test server and we're looking at a new weapon, and no, it is not some of the other ones who were teased. This is a sniper weapon called the Tetra rifle. We're going to look at the 12 today. What is nice about this is how nuanced this weapon is, especially in the current meta. As many of us know, the railgun and the EM rifle, especially the railgun, has struggled with mods, and this one seems like it can do some interesting stuff, at least when we look at how this all functions. So let's start with the perk here, which is called Final Blow. Basically, this is a paying it forward kind of method, where if your shots land, the final shot in your rifle will do an added or boosted damage based on how many other shots you land. So there are 4 shots total in the rifle. So the first 3 shots, depending on which ones you land, it will add a damage modifier to the final shot. You can already see how this kind of functions with mods, where you're taking off layers and then doing chunks of damage with that final shot. But it gets a little more nuanced than that as well. All right, so first let's look at the raw stats. The raw stats on this are probably similar to that of like Long Arm, kind of like Long Arm 2.0. But because it has other functions, we'll see how it's much better. The overall magazine and shot damage doesn't seem too high, but that's because you're going to have that damage modifier on the last shot that does a huge chunk. Fire rate isn't great, but it's a sniper weapon. The magazine isn't as big or as high as the Long Arm, but it is only 1 less, and the reload speed is super short. This is one of the shortest reloads that we have in the game. You can actually put implants in to make this shorter, which is even crazier, but I don't really think it's necessary. This does have a good optimal range that's similar to like a railgun, but its actual max range for a sniper weapon is kind of short. This actually feels more like an assault or heavy category, right? Those can get to this kind of range. I think minigun also hits 130 meters, even though its accuracy is terrible at that range. But there is a range implant for this, and I think at max it can get to about 170 meters, and having that and the optimal range together is quite nice. But this almost feels like it could be like the top end of a mid-range style sniper weapon based on that alone. The projectile speed is the same as like your, long arms or the railguns, so nothing different there. EMs will still be faster, but that should give you an idea of how this will function. Now, the interesting part, or the most interesting part, is how the whole damage modifier works, and this other function that says shield bypass. Now, if you originally look at this or some of the functions of it, without reading all the details down here, it looks like it's just for personal shields, but if you read this, it says a percentage of damage per bullet goes through personal shields and mod shields. That's a biggie. So if you're going to be able to get some of this damage through the mod shields, that's a huge deal. All right, so we're going to explain a little bit on why that's a big deal, and then the function of this whole damage modifier that you get at the end. So I did try this out on the test server, and when you land just one of your shots, you will do that 250 bonus damage. When you land 2 of the shots, you will do a 500% damage bonus on that final shot. And then if you land all 3, you will get a 750% damage bonus to your shot. And when I was testing this, I was using mods and implants, so my damage values are higher than on paper, but that should at least give you an idea of like some of that function. So essentially, if you shoot with both of your rifles with that final shot after landing all your previous shots, you can do like about 300k damage on that final enemy, and some of that, because of its shield bypass, will go through mods. So there is a big potential here for this to do whopping numbers. So with all that said, I figure it's probably best just to go right into a match, and you guys can see how this functions. So here we go. All right, so we are doing some 5v5. And I picked Orion just because I think that's going to give us the best potential for damage numbers. I will put my build up. So with the shield piercing that this has added with this, I think that there is good potential, but it depends on if we can land all those shots. So we'll see how we do. See, yeah, there we go. Hitting well with that, and boom, we take down our first target. It did take everything we had, but it still worked out well. Boom, there we go again. Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously it's AI, they're walking right into it, but landing shots on this really isn't too bad. Like I said, mostly because the aim assist that this has is going to help supplement. This is a pretty heavy aim assist, so it feels quite nice, but I think it's kind of warranted given the function of this weapon. We didn't quite take that guy out, but you saw those were like the final damage type shots, and we hit a lot off of that guy. We didn't get the kill, but gosh, I don't know if you saw that, but that was, I think that guy was a Bastion with mods on, and we did huge numbers from that final shot on him. I'll have to play it back or see, you guys can see it back maybe, I don't know if you want to play it back to get an idea, but it seemed like it does pretty good damage with that final thing. But it's just the idea of trying to land it that I think is going to be tricky. And I also can see with players, it's going to be even harder to make sure you land the ones you want or need to make sure that this does really well. But I can see where Orion will take good advantage of that stasis and landing shots if you can get them off quick enough, like we did when we first started the match. But it's hard, man. I've played around with this for a bit, and I think it's good, but there are a lot of times where I don't know how that one didn't hit. Where you don't kill the target and you end up just getting assists, which isn't bad, but I mean it is going to limit like the feel of this just dominating. But it's probably more practical in terms of how you should play with this and play with teammates and all that kind of stuff than just crushing everything. Function-wise and like the visuals, I like on this one. It's easy to see not only your bullets, but when you land shots. So it'll tell you, like, look at that. You can see the 1, the 2, the max, that kind of stuff. I also love how you can see it on the gun. It puts little markers on the gun to show you, like, if you're landing the shots. I do feel kind of cheese, like I'm sitting back here. But, I mean, this is what you would do as a sniper, right? So I guess it's not far off of what you would do there. It is nice that this actually, you know, the damage will go through the mods. I'm not sure if it's better. It's probably better to alternate fire, but depending on the situation. I have been alternating fire mostly because I'm thinking of the individual ML shields that I would knock off, but like because I kind of get in the habit of doing that. But I think because you're doing some damage to the body instead of just mods, there's probably warranted times where shooting both makes sense, especially when you get a good opportunity to use those final shots. It's just not always like the same amount for each gun, so you might not hit the numbers you want for those. Oh, come on. I thought that would land. All right, I'm gonna go get him. All right, let's see if we can get him here. He's already marked. Oh, he just lost it, but I think we can. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay. I was going to, and then I just like took the shot anyway. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're doing good here. I'm happy with this. Yeah, good. You can see that, like, good damage. Oh, gosh. Now I gotta run away. I really wanted to kill that guy. No. No, get away. Oh, that is a guy. Wait, is that the same one? I think it might be. Oh, no. Someone else's shield went down and his didn't, so I gotta deal with it. No! Oh, they were both, like, so close to death. It would have been great to get final kills with that 15% damage going through, but that's all right. I mean, that still gives you an idea of how this will function, especially with a more ideal setup. I could see Orion, Brick House, if they do a 16, which I'm guessing they will, Blackhorn could be really good for it, but we'll have to see how that all goes as this all develops here. All right, guys, so that is the Tetra rifle. I don't really know for sure where this thing is going to sit. This does not feel meta-worthy to me, just because even though the damage is big, it is situational based on you having that specific shot ready and you landing your other shots. Now, there is the aim assist like we talked about, so that's going to be helping and very forgiving. But when you're talking about like having to land all these other individual shots to get that final shot versus just having EMs where you can land like 1 or 2 here and then, you know, hoping that you can do it without mods in the way, I don't know which is necessarily going to be better. And I also feel that in both instances, this is still going to be below Revoker Stormwrack type meta right now, especially since this is more of a mid-range weapon. I think that those could still play pretty well with it in that similar space, as well as other stuff like nades. I feel like this right now is probably like A tier-ish. I do like what this is trying to do. I do think that if you gave this more damage per individual shot, and then tone down the actual percentage you get to still get similar damage numbers on the final shot, but to give you more damage per shot so that more of that shield bypass damage can go through, or adjust the shield bypass damage through mods, this may actually be like S tier or like compete in top tier meta. but as of right now, I don't really think it could. I still really like the idea of the weapon, and I think it sits evenly with a lot of other weapons. It's really just Storm Rex and Revokers, like we see all the time, that are going to make it difficult for anything else to survive and function well. But that all said, I still think this is going to be a great weapon. I think it does something added for the meta, and it's heading in the right direction for the sniper meta, specifically in dealing with mods. But you guys, as always, can let me know what you think. Feel free to comment below your thoughts, and we will see you out there on the battlefield.